Remember Google Glass? It was thought to be a groundbreaking technology which would create a whole new market like smartphones and smartwatches. It was one of the most anticipated products in the last 10 years as it was hyped up so much before its launch, but upon its release, reviews were terrible and sales were even worse. Eventually, Google discontinued Google Glass as a consumer product in 2015, but now Google Glass is back. So what happened and why did Google Glass fail and will they fail again? Make sure to stick around till the end to find out. Welcome to Hari's Hobbies. The Google Glass actually came in with a strong welcome, so where did it go wrong? The idea was to mount a smart device on a pair of glasses, which sounded awesome in theory, but in reality it looked pretty bad. The Google Glass design was very awkward and unattractive. It was unsymmetrical and made people look weird, and people simply did not want to wear this around town. It looked like it was more of a prototype than a final product, and I guess it was kind of a prototype. It was the first model and it probably would have gotten better with time, looking more like regular glasses. And these glasses also drew a lot of attention, which was not all good attention. It was pretty expensive hardware and it's not that hard to steal a pair of glasses from your face, so it made it a huge target for robberies. And Google Glass made people look geeky. It didn't boost their social image, it actually did the exact opposite. Apple Watches make you look sporty, high-end iPhones make you look classy, but this simply made you look geeky. It definitely was not a socially accepted product, and that was with reason. If you actually think about it, it's pretty weird to walk around with the camera on your head saying, "Okay Google." It's clear why people wouldn't use this in public, and this really hurt sales. There was also a lot of safety and privacy concerns when it came to the Google Glass. Most people were not comfortable with this gadget consistently emitting carcinogenic radiation right next to your face all day. Of course, phones and smartwatches also emit radiation, but they're so much further away from your head. This was literally expected to be in your face the entire day. It also had a built-in camera which made it a huge privacy concern. You could literally walk around and record everything that you're seeing. You can record random people on the street without them even noticing, and this also raised piracy concerns as well. You could just walk into theaters and record the whole movie and post it online. These were clearly not allowed in movie theaters and a lot of other places as well, so you couldn't even use it all the time when you were outside of your house. The incorporated camera really unleashed a lot of potential for the Google Glass, but at the same time in the wrong hands, its capabilities could be exploited for criminal activities. The vast amount of concerns related to Google Glass really hindered its growth. And the development of Google Glass was going pretty slowly. It had been 2 years since the launch of the Google Glass, and nobody really knew where the Google Glass was going in the future. There was still a lot of confusion to if it was actually a finished product or not. They really made some bold attempts at trying to market the Google Glass by using skydivers and fashion shows, but this really didn't help. There was problems with the device that people wanted addressed before they bought the device. For example, one of the biggest problems was that it would completely stop working during firmware updates. And of course, it had a terrible battery life that people really loved to complain about. Google Glass was a pretty fluid experience, but there still was a good amount of sluggishness that made it pretty frustrating to actually use. And the lack of development made it clear that these problems weren't going away in the near future. And this made new consumers skeptical that they would have a good experience with the product and continue to have a good experience in the future, and this, of course, really hurt sales. And then there was price. The first product wasn't even available at retail stores. You had to become a Google Explorer to be able to buy it, and it cost $1,500. Let's be honest, that's pretty outrageous. That's even more expensive than the already expensive iPhones that people always criticize. And let's be clear here, this is a pair of glasses with a tiny screen on the top right corner. I'm sure technologically it took a lot of money to develop and produce, but it just did not seem like it was worth it for the public. As a result, the main people who bought Google Glass were technology geeks and journalists. This seems like it is fine and not an issue, but the problem is that this subset of people don't actually benefit from the features that Google Glass offers. When a product doesn't actually benefit you, you're so much more likely to get really annoyed by the small disadvantages. And these people are already pretty opinionated people, and considering that they're journalists, they're gonna share their experiences with the world. And that's exactly what they did. they went out and shared all of the negatives about the product, like high price, low battery life, and unappealing design. Tim Bergen said that he was one of the first adopters of the Google Glass and his experience was terrible from the very beginning. He says that Google Glass now sits in his office museum of failed products. There was also vast complaints about the UI being horrible and the connection being unreliable. This again gave Google Glass a really bad public image, and this along with its really high price made it only suitable for a niche market. People were expected to pay a high price for a product that they heard was a really bad experience, so why would they do that? And that was Google's problem. The key to creating a successful product is to find a demand and solve an issue. You don't make a product first and then try to find people who are interested in it afterwards. And that's precisely what the Google Glass did, and this left it with no clear purpose. I'm not sure how this simple concept was overlooked by the Stanford engineers who work at Google. But for whatever reason, Google Glass only had two primary functions. One, you could quickly capture images, and two, you can get notifications from your phone. But there really were no practical daily uses. I mean, how often were you going to use the aforementioned purposes? How often are you going to have to take a picture so quickly that you're not going to be able to take your phone out? I'm sure that unless it was a very urgent picture that needed to be taken, people would definitely take out their phone to take a picture as it's so much higher quality. And how helpful really are those notifications going to be? For the same price, you could even buy 4 Apple Watches, which are already very expensive, and you could look at the same notifications with a quick glance downwards. Or better yet, you can take out your phone and actually reply in an efficient manner. It really did not seem like there was a clear purpose for Google Glass and that its features were more like gimmicks. Even Google engineers didn't agree with the purpose of the glass. Some claimed that you should wear them all day and that it should help you with all daily tasks, and others claimed that you should only wear on certain occasions. But the thing is, most people back then, and even people today, aren't doing things that would benefit from the Google Glass. And when there's no problem that people need solving, why are they going to buy it? And that's exactly what happened with Google Glass. Google Glass ended up being such a big failure that it ended up in the Swedish Museum of Failure. Google discontinued the product in 2015 and didn't mention a successor for a pretty long time. But recently, a second generation device named Glass Enterprise Edition 2 has surfaced. This will match modern day Wi-Fi and Bluetooth standards but will lack 4G. Google announced that the new product will be coming out in 2019, but as it is a business product, there really isn't much news on it. They may have already started handing out prototypes or even completely launched the full product to certain businesses. But either way, the main thing is that Google Glass is back. But Google is distinctly aiming Glass 2 at engineers and logistics workers. The head-up display is supposed to display schematic data that they are able to compare with what is in front of them. This is a professional version of the glasses, and did I mention it is cheaper at $999. And it looks a lot better too. It actually looks like glasses this time. The right side is a lot longer than the left side, but this is not a fashion statement and people aren't going to be wearing it outside, so this actually makes sense. This actually has a clear purpose and use, and so it can actually do well, at least in my opinion. It is actually solving problems and making processes easier. And if this is followed up with good marketing and really is significantly beneficial, I'm sure that Google Glass can make a comeback. Just imagine that Google Glass, one of the worst failures in the last 15 years, suddenly comes back and succeeds. It definitely seems like it has potential, but we will have to wait and see. Technology companies are always trying to invent the next biggest thing and go on big ventures to make that happen. However, a lot of these dreams end up in shambles like did the Google Glass. The two main problems to Google Glass was that it was way too expensive and had no clear purpose. But Google has come out with a new product that has a clear purpose and market, and this is also cheaper as well. They solved the two biggest issues that the original Google Glass had and seem to be going on the right track, but only time will tell if this will succeed. But that's all I have for you guys on Google Glass. Make sure to comment down below what company you would like me to cover next. Also, if you guys like this video, then make sure to drop a like and consider subscribing if you'd like to see more videos just like this one. But until then, I'm Hari, and I'll see you guys on the next one.